But this is the big one,
The big
guys. Right in the middle. It's a team of the year. We're gonna go position by position, 4-3-3.
one. Okay.
Okay.
We'll try and not argue about.
Yeah,
it
we'll
too
just
long.
we'll do everything and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
so we'll
yeah,
go goalkeepers and then we'll talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like
Okay.
that, I like that.
Let's go.
All right. In goal, I had Matt Sells for Notts Forest.
Same here.
Yeah. Same here.
Same.
Okay,
There we go.
that's fine.
Easy.
Okay, no conversation.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Great. I mean, yeah.
I
probably get the golden
I was
glove.
going to say, yeah. I think he deserves to get it. I think Forest as a back, in defence, have been really solid this year, which has contributed to why they've been so unexpectedly good this
Getting
season.
Europe confirmed.
Yeah, exactly.
Unreal.
So for me, I don't think there was anyone
No.
else I could have done.
Definitely
Maybe a shout for Dean Henderson at Palace.
Fuck off, Dean Henderson.
No,
Yeah,
fair
fuck
enough.
off, Dean Henderson.
But that's for me.
Left
It was
United.
always
Wants to come to Newcastle.
Yeah, let him go. Let him. He's shit,
Yeah.
mate.
Go
He's
away.
shit.
But for me, it was always Matt Sells.
Fairs.
Yeah.
I think, but
agreed.
Henderson's like not close to, but second.
Honorable
for me.
mention. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right back.
I went for Ola Aina.
Me too.
I know at Forest.
Yeah,
yes,
me
yes,
too.
Sorry.
I know. Yeah.
I don't know. I thought.
What's yours? Say it, and then we'll discuss.
Well, Trent. He's won the league.
Okay. What was yours?
Okay.
This one was actually really tricky.
Sorry, just saying. If you play like team of the season, I think Trent's more important than a lot of other Liverpool players, and than you probably realise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to say Trent because right now I've got hatred towards him.
Okay.
But yeah, I think Trent's
Okay.
fair.
No, that's
Can
fine.
I fight the
Here we
Ola
go.
Aina corner?
Here we go.
We both.
I don't mind
Yeah,
Aina.
yeah, we
Aina's a
can.
good shout.
I think they're both solid shouts. I think for me, Trent has been good for a number of years, and he's kind of been a mainstay in the team this season. Maybe apart from like when Walker and all that sort
Who's
of
now
stuff.
fell off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas Ola Aina, having come through the Chelsea academy
Yeah.
as well.
Make it about Chelsea.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually didn't know that, to be fair.
Yeah. We played him. He went on loan to Torino, and then he just kind of went out to Serie A and all that. Anyway, so I think the fact that last year he didn't really do much, he was kind of in a Forest defence that wasn't solid.
And leaky.
Yeah, and he's actually contributed at both ends of the pitch this year. He scored a
Yeah.
few goals. He's picked up a few assists, and obviously the defence overall is just a lot better.
Oh yeah. Unreal.
They do still concede goals though.
Yeah,
Like,
I think
they concede a fair few goals for a team that's in Europe now.
Yeah, well, I think definitely in the latter stages of the season, like they just drew against Leicester,
Yeah.
and people think, oh, well, it's Leicester, who's going to,
Mm.
but they were winning games and keeping a lot of
Yeah.
clean sheets.
Yeah.
That's why Matt Sells is so
They're-
high in the.
Yeah, they're really stubborn, I feel. And also I think they've burnt out a bit. That's the
A little
depth.
bit, yeah.
But now they're gonna get money because they've qualified, whether it's conference or Europa or on the off chance they get Champions League. It's an influx of money. They're gonna invest in some
100%.
players. And I think they'll improve the squad. I don't think they're gonna do as well next year, but we have to acknowledge it. And I think
Yeah.
Trent definitely shout, but for me it was a boring option. And I
Yeah,
wanted to
but
go
it's
Aina.
boring. It's boring.
I want to go
agree.
Aina.
Centre backs.
Centre backs.
Are we doing both or one?
We'll do pairing.
Okay.
Okay, pairing.
Yeah.
So my pairing was Virgil van Dijk at Liverpool and Milenkovic at Nottingham Forest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I went with Milenkovic on the right, and I went with Dan Burn on the left.
Milenkovic and Dan Burn.
Van Dijk, Milenkovic as well.
Okay.
Okay. To be fair, we're understanding each other a bit
We've only
here.
had three. There's only three centre backs
Yeah.
we've all picked.
I
Do we all have Van Dijk?
Yeah.
No,
we
Dan
didn't.
Burn
We
and
had Dan
Milenkovic.
Burn.
Oh, we both had Van Dijk.
Because
Okay.
I think that Van Dijk has actually fallen off more this year than Trent's level has differed. If that
Yeah.
makes
Well,
sense.
for me, I couldn't have both Van Dijk
falling
and
off being
Trent.
just worse than he was.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of mix it out around the clubs,
Uh-huh.
so that's why I haven't. Because if I didn't have Van Dijk, I would have had Trent.
Yeah.
Right.
But then
that's
I could.
fair.
But then I also wanted Milenkovic, and I wouldn't have Murillo or
Yeah.
another centre back. I know you said Dan Burn.
I think Dan Burn trophy win for
Yeah,
trophy the first goal of the game, local lad. He's first England call up. He's been probably our best centre back this year, but our best defender.
Mate,
this
big
year.
game player. Big game player.
Exactly.
He has some
And
screamers as well.
and the thing is that you've got screaming. Yeah, I mean against Liverpool.
I think you make a good point. Like he scored in the League Cup finals.
Yeah.
And obviously that's the first.
He's a
Newcastle
goal
trophy,
scoring centre
I mean,
back.
he gets.
Yeah.
He got. I know it's the win against Chelsea was already wrapped up, but that second goal, he got the assist.
Yes.
That's a must-win. That top 5 game.
And you have to remember he's
And he's-
filling in for the Rolls Royce that is out.
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
Botman.
yeah.
It's like he's brought in as maybe a utility player.
Yeah.
You know,
We were
earlier
laughed at
on.
for getting him.
Yeah,
as
and
well.
then like you brought
Yeah.
Lewis Hall, and people said that he was going to replace Dan Burn, you bought other centre backs, but he's still in the team. He's been there for a few years
Lloyd
now.
Kelly.
Yeah, exactly.
Lloyd
Where
Kelly.
is he now?
He's-
Juventus.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is like people are saying, oh, he's going to fall out the team because we brought other players in, and he's stepped up every single time.
Yeah.
So I hear the Dan Burn shout. I still think, obviously, we talked about Van Dijk. I think Liverpool have won the league, easily.
Yeah.
I'd argue he's been one of the most important players in that team from a defensive point of view.
Yeah.
Same thing with Milenkovic, as I said, for Olaine and Matt Sells. They've
Yeah.
been really solid. Milenkovic has chipped in with a couple goals. I think he scored against
PLS
Newcastle as well.
Big
I
PLS.
had him-
Nailed on.
I had him at 4.4 mil as well
Yeah, you
on
had him.
fantasy.
Oh,
So
Oh, shut
I think,
up.
I think he's, as I said with Olaine, he's definitely contributed to
Yeah.
that. And when he was at Fiorentina, like a few clubs were in for him. I think
Mhm.
Aston Villa as well. So yeah, great,
He's
really good
good.
player.
The good thing about doing the whole team is that I think the defenders and goalkeeper are actually the most contentious. I think midfield and forwards shouldn't actually be that different between all of us.
Okay.
Until
Well, you
Okay.
you say that. So
Well,
we'll go
Anyway,
left back.
left back. For me, I think the Premier League there's a shortage of left backs. So I've
Yeah.
chosen a player that's played there all season. You go first, though.
Okay. Right. So I've watched this player
Here we go.
Fuck's
all
sake.
season.
God.
All season. It's Mark Cucurella at Chelsea.
He's lying.
He's lying. He's
No,
lying.
he's joking. He's
You're
joking.
picking our defence,
He's joking.
something.
Okay. Gvardiol, one of City's best players this season. Plays left
Okay.
back.
I
Does
think
play
he
left
just
back.
got.
He does play left back. though.
Yeah, but I don't think he's that good actually.
I think he's one of
to be
City's
Okay,
best
okay.
players this year. Okay.
I would probably say Kirkez has been one of the
Good.
better left
My
backs
second
of
choice.
the
Yeah.
year.
I said Gvardiol as well.
Okay.
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 Fair
Okay.
enough. Right. Just
I hear you.
quickly establish
hear
your
you,
point.
but what the
because
fuck?
Okay. So I would have Kirkez as a second point,
Okay.
but for me, it's between Caicedo and Cucurella for the top two
Chelsea
players this season.
Yeah.
Palmer's fallen off. He was an obvious choice last year. Not as obvious this year. I think Cucurella's chipped in with a lot of goals. I think he scored 6 this season in the league.
Okay.
Or it might be all comps, but
He's assisted a few as well.
yeah, exactly. I think as well, he also came off a good Euros, which probably helped that. He had an average
Yeah.
season last year, but
He was
I
much
think-
better in the Euros.
I think because his first season when we signed him,
Rubbish.
he was not good.
You hated
He-
him.
I didn't think he was that good. I was like, we've signed him for 50 mil. He doesn't really do anything in attack. He doesn't do anything in defense. I wasn't sure. Then the next season, he kind of turns up a bit. He becomes a solid option.
Yeah.
But for me, I think he's easily been one of our better players.
I
this year.
don't mind
Okay.
it. It's just hearing and seeing his
Yeah.
face in my
Yeah,
head.
no, I get.
That's the
Yeah.
difficult part.
Yeah.
because he's
I think
wrapped,
a lot of people that I've spoken to don't like him
Yeah.
for the Spain. Obviously
Yeah.
English fans they don't like him, and I understand that. But for me, I can't not have him.
Listen.
That's fair
Having
enough.
watched him all season.
Yeah, with the shortage of left backs, that's fine. I think 6 goals is quite good. I was going to say Gvardiol scored 5, and I think City have had a crap season, but he's been one of the most consistent players. Obviously, a few mistakes here and there with that team that's
Mbappe
changing
got-
all the time. Yeah,
cooking
okay,
him
that's
as
Champions
well.
League.
Yeah.
That's Champions League. But yeah, I mean, a little bit of the
Yeah.
thumb
Yeah.
Isak celebration. But yeah, I still think he's been a very good player for City this season.
Yeah. I think that's fine. Fine to say. Anything else to add about Gvardiol?
No, to be honest, is like City's defense is just crap sometimes, but he's always there, and he helps. He gets, just stops the goals, and
Yeah.
he's just always helpful in the
Scores,
team.
yeah.
City
Yeah.
will need a rebuild, and he's going to be pivotal part of that
Yeah.
rebuild.
He's still young, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think with Gvardiol last year, he's arguably more important last year.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he was, he chipped in with a lot of goals. He had that really good spell towards the end of last season, and he was an obvious pick at left back there.
Mm.
But for me, I'd say he's third behind Cucurella in my opinion, and then Kirkez
Kirkez,
would
yeah.
be an easy second.
Okay.
Kirkez looking for a move definitely this summer.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I
I
think.
think.
Wonder
I
who
think
he's linked with.
he would. It wouldn't be a surprise. I think it wouldn't be a surprise if he was the best left back next season.
Yes.
Kirkez.
Yeah, that's
Mate,
fair.
I can
well,
see that happening.
You are forgetting about Lewis Hall, obviously, but
Ben unreal. Interesting.
Okay.
he's
All right.
injured though, so I couldn't put him in.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyways,
3 in
our
midfield.
midfield 3.
So
I'm a bit worried about this one.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Have we gone 6, 8, 10? That's what I've done, but it doesn't really matter.
I just
doesn't
did-
really
I
matter.
Two
Three
8s and a
midfielders.
10. I've
Doesn't
gone.
yeah, it doesn't really matter. Who's yours?
Okay,
First one.
my first midfielder.
Yep, go for
Okay,
it.
I just went.
Go with the obvious one.
Okay, I went Declan Rice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone can agree.
Yeah, Rice.
Yeah.
Rice.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Okay, Yeah.
Arsenal's best player after Saka, because
Yeah.
Saka's been injured. So
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
a lot of clutch goals, great player. Who
Yeah.
have you got next?
Agreed. I'd probably say my second midfielder would be McAllister.
Yeah.
Alexis McAllister for Liverpool.
Bit of a long.
Remember,
I've-
he was 35 million when we signed him,
True.
Yes.
and we always look for value players, and he has provided that value in my
No,
opinion.
he's good. He's good. I do rate it, but you know what put me off him is some Liverpool fans said, "Oh, where did we find this gem, brother?
Brighton.
You just looked at one of the best midfielders in the league. He's a good player though, and
He's good.
I hear the shouts.
Okay,
But
what was
I
yours?
picked Gravenberch,
Okay,
which
fair
I think
enough.
is interchangeable.
I
I think
picked him as well.
for me.
Okay,
it's
so
one
that
of
you-
the, I think
You
for
yeah.
me-
pick Gravenberch.
as well.
you picked both
yeah.
of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
I think for
okay.
me it's one of them two, and I had to obviously Rice was an obvious one.
Yeah.
And then for me, it was between Gravenberch and McAllister. I think McAllister's more attacking, so you
Yeah,
can probably get a lot more, what do you call it, like goal involvements with that. And you
Yeah,
see
yeah,
him a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
more. So, yeah.
Okay.
That's fair. Third one.
More just
Wait,
Caicedo.
whoa.
Oh,
I
wait.
didn't give my second one.
Oh, sorry.
Sandro Tonali.
skip. Can I? Would you not say Bruno Guimaraes?
I was yeah, that would have been my pick for
I
Newcastle,
haven't
in my
picked
opinion.
Guimaraes, but if I was to go for a Newcastle, I would have picked.
Me too. He was in contention for me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The problem is with Bruno. I kept first captain to give us a trophy in 70 years. He's obviously been there since the beginning of the rebuild. He's been really good for us. The problem is with Bruno, he has games where he is 100% in, and then he has games where he's not even there. And sometimes the inconsistency is too much for me to put him as the best midfielder in the league. When I watch Sandro Tonali, every single performance I've seen him in, whether it's home, away, in the casinos, like he's always winning. Do you know what I mean? He wins
You're essentially saying Sandro Tonali puts in like a 7 out of 10 every week.
Every
Whereas
single
Guimaraes,
week.
It can be like
It's
a
either
9
7 or
Yeah,
above.
okay.
It's not 9 or 5.
Okay.
It's
He's
9.
just more consistent.
It's 9 or
Okay.
4 for me. Like
Okay.
he can be really on or really off. And I think
Yeah.
with Sandro Tonali, you've got a 24, 20. I think he's 23 or 24.
Yeah, he's still young.
He's growing into the position, and him and Bruno, he now sits as the 6 in that team. So I
Yeah.
would actually have him as the 6 and let Declan Rice be as the 8
Yeah.
to let Rice get forward more. And then you've got Gravenberch as the...
Yeah.
Okay, so now we can go to the third midfielder.
Okay, I already said it, but Moises Caicedo, Chelsea's player of the season, Chelsea's players player of the season. For
115
me,
million pounds.
Again, it's not about the fee. For
150
me, it's
million.
not about. Okay, you could say that all you want, but for me,
150
if you
million
take
pounds.
Caicedo out of the team, if you take
150
Caicedo out of
million
Chelsea, mid-table.
Yeah,
Mid-table.
okay, yes, no, I think he's had his breakout year, and I think
Okay.
now he's going to be.
No,
I think
personally, I think last year was his breakout year, but he didn't get the credit that he did.
Really?
Having
No,
watched him all,
that's
having watched him all season, he didn't get the credit he
Okay,
deserved. I
okay.
think this year he's got his credit, and
Yeah,
he's been better every year. Because I think at the start of last year he had a really bad debut.
Mm.
yeah,
Like he got a
Yeah,
penalty,
really
he
bad,
got
yeah.
penalty conceded against West Ham, and we were like, okay, this is a bit of a joke now.
Okay,
Yeah.
right.
And towards the end of the season, he was a lot better, and he's kicked on from that.
Yeah.
So that was my
Okay.
third.
For the
fair.
10?
well, he's gone with like.
I
just
just did a
He's
3
gone-
midfielders.
Oh,
all
right.
round.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll
Your
go
10?
last. You can
No,
go.
no.
No. We got to go
Yeah, yeah.
ordered. Don't say.
Don't
Do not say
Do
it.
not say
If you say who I think you're going to say, I'm going to slap you.
I
across
love
the face.
Manchester United with all of my heart,
Oh, he's gonna.
and we would be getting ready for a championship season in August if this guy wasn't on our team.
Oh,
And
Oh,
I
he's
think
doing it.
he's doing it.
as the only signing that has worked at Man United since 2013,
Yeah.
the only player who stayed, the only player who embodies what the club is about,
13.
including
Wow.
Rashford, including all these other bums that have come and gone, Bruno Fernandes is in my team. I'm sorry, he has to be.
Any comments on
Still most chances created in the league. He's just got a
Yeah.
bunch of bozos around
I
him.
think-
100%.
I think you're right. I think if you take Fernandez out, yeah, you'd be a lot worse off.
They'll be relegated.
Personally.
I think you'd
Yeah.
be relegated
We-
as well.
I think-
genuinely
yeah.
think we'd be relegated.
I think he's a good player in a quite poor team, which is why maybe he doesn't get the
That
credit.
was a
he
nice way to
deserves.
put it.
But-
Quite
You're
poor.
welcome.
Big
You're
thing.
welcome.
I think he has a Saudi offer that
Yeah.
your club could take in the summer, and
I
it could
don't
change
think
things
so.
next
I don't
season.
think so. Even if United
Robert
accept, I don't know if he
Schiller.
goes. I'd be very surprised, but hopefully
Okay.
he doesn't leave.
Okay.
Hopefully he doesn't leave.
I personally, when I thought about what I was going to pick for my 10, I thought, who do I want to, one, see perform next year consistently and who has been doing it for the past year, not just this season. I'm thinking about international tournaments. I'm thinking about a lot of different things. I'm putting Cole Palmer as my 10.
Ooh, even he's surprised.
You know, you have to understand when I'm thinking about who's the best player in their position.
Yeah,
I'm taking form into consideration, right?
So
but-
he shouldn't be there on form.
I
think,
agreed.
yeah.
Into consideration, but what you have to understand is Chelsea have got a manager who's only managed professional football for what he's been a full manager for one season, and that was in the Championship.
Much, yeah.
He's a retard, right? I'm telling you, right? We know that
And
Cole
you know
Palmer.
better.
Yeah, of course.
No,
We
I
know
think-
that Palmer is the best 10 in the league. I think hands down, he is the best 10 in the league. He can play on the right. He can play
on
in the
his
10.
day,
He can play
yes.
deeper. He can play on
On
the
his
left.
day,
even if he wants
on his
to.
day, he can be, but this season, I don't think so.
You can only really say that after February, anyways, because after February, it's been worse.
Got
for him.
injured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But before then, I think he has been in contention to be the
Yeah,
best.
I think with you having done your 3 on positions rather than just the top 3 midfielders,
Yeah.
I probably would agree and have Palmer as the 10. But I just did it based on midfielders.
Yeah.
Which is why there's like 3 more defensive-minded midfielders in there, which wouldn't be an ideal team, but it's like the best midfielders.
Yeah.
within the
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your
That-
10?
Oh, wait, you already did it.
Yeah.
Also, wait, a shout out to Gibbs White. I wanted to pick
Yes,
him. If
yeah,
it wasn't
Morgan
Bruno
Gibbs
for
White.
me, it would have been Gibbs White. I think
He was my second
he
choice.
could easily go to City because City will need a 10 now. It's him.
Yeah.
It's Wirtz. There's
It's
a few players, but
Wirtz.
I love Gibbs
Oh,
White.
Wirtz?
Oh, we're not going to speak about that.
Yeah.
Don't want touchline a curse.
Well, it's a bit of transfer gossip, but right now we're in for Frimpong. We don't know if we'll get Wirtz or not. Like, I think if City get him and if they lay the groundwork, so I think we're just hyping it up so City have to pay more, to be honest. I reckon it'll be
Yeah, it might
another like Sado sort of incident sort of thing going forward. So I don't think we're really in contention.
Do we have the Covertio? Here we go.
Do we have the here we go?
I mean, there's no here we go.
No.
Okay. No, here we go.
fuck's
Right. It's not a
sake.
dodgy answer.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Front 3.
I think
Starting
this
on,
should be pretty unanimous.
starting
to be
Right
honest.
wing.
I promise you it's not. Starting on the right. Let's go right.
Okay.
Right wing.
I
Easy.
mean, this is my player of the year, Mo Salah.
Yep.
Easy.
Salah, obviously.
Salah.
Okay.
Shout out to next one. Striker.
My striker was Alexander Isak.
Yes,
Personally,
I just want to shout out Chris Wood.
Yes.
Very big shout out to you. But Isak is now cemented top 3 strikers in the world. So
Yeah.
Alexander Isak.
I think. On that? Actually, no. Sorry. Go on. No,
I was just going to say, I think he is the best striker in the world
Okay.
at the moment. I think it's.
Wonder why? Why do you think that?
I know, but obviously, I have no bias at all.
none.
I just think he's a complete striker. I
Yeah.
think he does everything, and he's doing it in the best,
One more
or
season.
the most competitive league in the world at
Yeah.
the moment.
Obviously, it's Darwin Núñez, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I thought about this, and I'm going to go with Wood.
Okay.
Fair play.
Very good.
It's because Forest have done so well this year, and without him as the main man, they would be nowhere near. They wouldn't be fighting for
chance, yeah.
Europe. And for me, that's impressed me more than Isak. Isak, he was good last season as well,
Yeah.
but Wood has been a real shock value
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the league, and because of that, I chose.
You got
him.
to give him his flowers.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I think for me, if I'm thinking of 2 strikers to pick, I would easily pick Isak. I don't think Wood is as good as a player as Isak.
No.
Yeah,
personally.
no.
I think he's
this
had a
season.
great season. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. But if we're talking in terms of who would you take in your team, Isak 100 times out of 100.
It's one of those things where when a player has the season of their life, it's wrong not to put it in there.
Yeah, or
sometimes. Like when
mention
Jamie
them,
Vardy
yeah.
was almost not put in the team of the year that time in
when they won the
2015 or
league.
whatever.
Yeah,
it was,
yeah.
Yeah,
which would have been criminal,
Yeah.
obviously.
And
Yeah.
I think, Newcastle is still in the race for second, really.
Yeah.
And
Please,
Please.
get second. Please
I
get
think-
second
I
above
think-
Arsenal.
I think as well, Woods, he scored quite a lot of goals, but I think he doesn't have. He's not. Wait, I think he's got like a 52% chance conversion rate. I think.
52.8.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But that's unsustainable. I think he won't do
Yes.
that next
No,
year.
I
he won't.
agree with you.
And this
It's
is like
definitely
this
not
is his
sustainable.
first season. It might be his first season over 15 goals in the league. Whereas
I think he's on
Isak,
20 now.
Isak, yeah. If you take, okay, for me, I'd have to pick.
That's
Isak.
fair. No, that's
your,
fair.
Your logic makes sense.
Yeah, you're
but
right.
your
Yeah,
lo-
yeah,
like,
but I understand.
It's just about
But I understand.
your
Okay.
flowers that you want to pick.
Yeah,
I think.
okay.
The left.
Left winger.
I think this is where
This is the
people are gonna
contention.
have different
Okay.
choices.
So we'll do all of
Okay,
the
we'll
names.
see.
and then
Yeah, all of the names. All of the names. and
Okay,
then we'll go.
okay. I picked Luis Diaz. Left
Okay.
wing.
Jaden Sancho. No, I'm joking. Obviously,
Who-
I've gone for Cunha.
Okay.
On the left?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, I've gone Diaz as well.
This one again was tricky. I had to really think about this because there's been so many good players in my opinion on the left. But I think I don't want to say another Liverpool player because I already said like 3 or 4 already, and I will probably say Slot as well. But but yeah, Diaz has been really good. There's a few honourable mentions, but I think Diaz is probably
That's fair.
Okay.
I think that with Cunha, we've not seen it enough yet. And I do understand, I just made the point about having a great season, you have to give him the flowers. But also with Cunha, he's had controversy in his season with
Doesn't matter,
the relationship. Well, yeah, I think it does. Like,
not in the
because-
team of the year. I just think
yeah,
he's
but
been
if
very
you,
good.
If you spit, like, just an example, if you, like, get abused by your fans and you hate your fans, like, that's a terrible relationship. It doesn't represent the league very well.
But we're talking about his performance on the pitch. I'm talking about his goals and assists.
Okay, well, how many goals and assists has he
He's got 15 goals, which means he's among the top, and he's also got 6 assists, and he's become the 3rd Brazilian ever to hit 15 goals.
Yeah.
And he's about to earn a big move. Whether it's to us or whether or not, I think he saved Wolves from relegation.
Yeah.
Remember where they were when Ferreira
yeah.
came in?
I was going to say, if he wasn't linked with Man United, I think there are some strong links linking there. Would you have gone for him?
Yes. Because when I watched him at Anfield, do you remember his goal with his left foot? First, I didn't know he had a left foot. Secondly, I think the amount, especially since Christmas, whenever Pereira, named the manager, right? When he came in, firstly, I give the credit to him, but I give the credit to Cunha, Strand Larson, that attacking front line, Ait Nouri as well, wing back. Wolves picked it up. Like, we were way above Wolves when the new manager came in, and now they're above us, clear of relegation. Yeah. They were like one of the 4 that was set to go down. I'm pretty sure I've said on this podcast that Wolves would get relegated, and I was so sure of it. But they've turned it around.
No shouts for Eze at all.
Eze
can do
really well recently,
but
he's played there sometimes.
Left,
honourable mention.
Honourable.
If we can say Palmer plays on the right sometimes, then
I think.
I think also Diaz is a really boring pick because it's one of those things where there's not, like, Gordon had a good season, but then he's been injured and he's been inconsistent since. And Grealish, not an existent human. And there's some left wingers in the league that are good wingers, but like aren't just. There's no outstanding left.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think with Diaz, he's been consistent for a few seasons now,
and he's never really, I think, pushed into that.
Well, I think
position.
In my opinion,
not Mane level.
I think it's because Salah's obviously the main man, and Diaz isn't at Salah's level in terms of output and just general stature within the game.
Yeah.
So I think he goes quite under the radar as kind of one of their better attackers and one of the better attackers in the league.
Yeah, I think we could move on to manager now.
Fair enough, manager.
I actually hadn't written down a manager because I hadn't done it. But if we were going to do managers, I would probably say Arne Slot. So yeah,
huge.
I know everyone else here is going to put that, so I put Nuno. So
I'm not going to put either of those. Eddie Howe's manager of the league.
That's wonder why.
Why? Okay, but quickly. I want you to tell me what. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Do
Slot.
Okay.
So, like, we already knew what his answer was.
Okay.
If you can tell me why Nuno has had a better season than Eddie Howe.
Nuno has overachieved with the squad. Eddie Howe
didn't last year.
No. He did good this year because you got 8th last year, right, or 7th last year.
Sorry, season before.
Yeah. So for me, obviously, when you're picking manager, it's expectation that comes into it. I think he's done really well. I think you guys should have been pushing for Europe anyway this year. You pushed last year. You just missed out. Maybe not 2nd or 3rd. That's really impressive. But I think that's a good team. He's got some very good players in there. When you look at that Forest team, if anyone here even said top half at the beginning of the season, you would have been laughed at.
Yeah.
There's no way. And now they're guaranteed at least Conference League, which is crazy for them. First time back in Europe since the 80s. So I think he deserves a lot. He plays some horrible terrorist football, but he pulled it off. He did it with Wolves like 6-7 seasons ago, and he's done it again. So fair play.
The thing is, though, I remember saying Eddie Howe was the manager of the season when we came 3rd.
Yeah.
Fourth.
Yeah.
Behind you. And I gave the example that you just gave where I said, oh, he had a really
receipts, man.
Well, this is what I do.
I would argue that Newcastle team was a lot better than this Forest.
Of course,
team.
But before Eddie Howe came in, I say the season before, I would have said that team was worse than the Forest team now. So he had to rebuild for half a season.
Yeah.
And then he got Champions
Yeah, he
League.
got better players. No,
So
he got better
he did
players.
it in 18 months, but
Rather
I think, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
Just a comparison there. That's why I would pick Eddie Howe. And
Okay.
also, he's never won a trophy before, and he won a trophy this year.
Yeah, no.
With a
That's true.
team that has rarely run.
Yeah, I don't
trophy.
think
Exactly,
don't think
yeah.
it's ridiculous. I think Newcastle now are on the up, so
A
no
little bit
pressure.
of bias in
Yeah.
there, but also Slotman. And
Yeah, and to be
Caicedo,
fair, how was nominated for manager of the season, manager of the year?
Yeah, I think
one of.
I
Should
think
be.
I
Should
think
be.
really Premier League fans are probably going to vote him as manager of the season,
I think-
unless Slot gets it.
Realistically, I think these three are solid options.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these
And
are
I
going to
think-
be the top three. In
Yeah,
so
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay, brilliant. Well, I mean that was pretty
yeah.
long.
Uneventful.
That was good.